What's going on YouTube? In today's video, we are going to be ranking every single one of the new Incognito series cards that you can obtain in Season 2 Team Affinity. As you guys can see here, I am working my way towards some of these cards, and each team gets 197 overall Incognito card. For example, we have Eddie Murray, Kevin Youkilis, Nestor Cortez, Tyler Glasnow, and Jose Barrios. There's a bunch of cards here to earn in the new Team Affinity program, and I'm going to go through and do a tier list for all of them. But before we do that, if you guys are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn those notification bells on so you get notified when a video of mine goes live, and comment down below at the end what you think of my tier list. So let's hop into it. So we're going to start off with the D tier here, and we have John Birdie, Lucas Giolito, Nick Ahmed, and Whit Merrifield. Birdie, Ahmed, and Merrifield are all very kind of similar to each other. You know, if you're looking for a guy that just has high contact, very low power, and it's kind of like a versatile utility guy, they'll be your guys. But you know, Birdie, Ahmed, Merrifield, they just don't really provide that much. They have okay swings. You know, Ahmed's stats really aren't the greatest either. I just think they're just very subpar cards compared to what we're going to see here later in this tier list video. They're not bad by any means. You know, I'm not saying these cards are awful. There's a reason why I don't have any cards in the F tier. You know, none of these cards are F tier material in my opinion, but when you compare all these cards together, I just don't think that they really stand out. And then Lucas Giolito, he has some decent hits per nine and pitching clutch. He does not have the pitch mix. His motion really isn't that great either. Out of all the pitchers in the Team Affinity here, I think he's probably the worst one. So now we're gonna hop into the C tier here, where I have Al Kaline, Jose Barrios, Paul Molitor, Doc Holliday. I know that one might be a little bit disappointing for you guys, but let me explain here in a little bit. Steven Kwan, Tim Raines, Tony Gwynn, and Tyler Glasnow. We're gonna start off with the pitchers here. Glasnow has like 102 hits per nine, and I think he has max pitching clutch, but he only has a fastball, knuckle curve, changeup, and a slider. Nothing really great, and he doesn't have any quirks, no outliers. He's okay. Barrios has like 88 hits per nine and only like 97 pitching clutch, I think it is. He does have some decent pitches. You know, he has a slurve, a four-seam sinker, and a changeup, but other than that, you know, it's just he has the pitch mix, but those hits per nine and that pitching clutch really isn't going to be that well for you. You know, it's definitely a little bit low. Doesn't have anything special. He tops out at about 95 miles an hour. He's an okay pitcher, but he's definitely better than Giolito. And then I'm going to group a couple cards here together. You know, you have Steven Kwan, Tim Raines, and Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn has really good contact, and I think he has max hitting clutch as well. The power is a little bit low, and it is an older version of Tony Gwynn, so his speed isn't like high 90s or anything of that sort. This Tony Gwynn only has 72 speed, and he has 85 fielding, so he's not even going to get you diamond defense out there. He has 62 power against righties and 70 against lefties, so it is a little bit low, especially for an outfielder. But if he had 80 power, I'd probably put him up in the A tier or so. Having 62 power, and while he does have some decent quirks, there's just so many good outfielder options in this game. Tim Raines, kind of the same deal. You know, he does have 96 speed, 86 fielding with 90 reaction. That's definitely decent. He has great contact against lefties at 125, 101 against righties, and 107 clutch. But again, kind of like Tony Gwynn, the power is very low. And personally, when I was using him in moments and when I was using him to progress through the Team Affinity, I wasn't the biggest fan of his swings. He does have some decent quirks. Again, you know, he has dead red, situational hitter, bad ball hitter, but again, very similar to Tony Gwynn, except he's a little bit faster. And we're gonna go over to Steven Kwan here. Very similar to those two guys as well. You know, 117, 110 contact, 114 clutch, very low power, good fielding, good speed. You know, he could be a good 9-hole hitter maybe, or a leadoff. Don't expect too many extra base hits with these cards. You know, they're just a single or bust type of player. Al Kaline, you know, he has 114, 120 contact with 120 clutch, but his power is a little bit low, and he's a little bit slow for an outfielder too. Not the biggest fan of Kaline. Doesn't really matter like what his stats are. He's just always like an average player for me. And then Paul Molitor, again, nice contact, 125, 116, max clutch. Only has silver fielding, but he does have decent speed, some good secondaries, and some okay quirks. Again, Molitor is just one of those cards in game. You know, he's never really great. He's just an okay card. I'm never a big fan of Molitor's swing either. I just think it's a little weird, so that's why I put him down in the C tier. And looking at Roy Halladay, you know, he has everything with the pitch mix. I loved his cards last year, but what really hurts this card is the 85 hits per nine and 92 pitching clutch. I just don't think it's going to be able to get it done. Maybe at best I would put him in the B tier, but he doesn't have anything special. You know, he has break outlier, which I guess is okay, but nothing like outlier or anything of that sort. The best thing he has for him is his stamina, and his walks per nine is at 108. But other than that, I just think he's a very average card. I don't think he's going to be that great, and there's definitely some better starting pitchers in this program. So now in the B tier here, we have Adam Dunn, Chili Davis, Eddie Murray, Ernie Banks, Kevin Youkilis, Kyle Seager. Then we have three pitchers: Matt Cain, Nestor Cortez, and Spencer Strider. I'm going to start off with the pitchers here first. I'm going to start off with Matt Cain. New legend this year. You know, he's finally getting his first, like, pretty good card. I don't think he's in an A tier type of player. He's very similar to Grom, who you guys are going to see later here as well. You know, Cain has 93 hits per nine. 120 pitching clutch is very nice. He has a sinker and he has a slider. He doesn't throw hard enough. He only tops out at 95, and his pitch speed differentials aren't the greatest. Could be a little bit better. He throws that slider really hard. It is 88. And whenever I have faced Matt Cain, I don't think his motion is that great. I was able to pick up the ball pretty easily out of his hands. He does have a sinker, but it is his 5th pitch in his repertoire, so I think that's what holds him back a little bit. It's going to be his worst pitch. He's an okay card, nothing great. You know, I would call him average. Spencer Strider is an interesting card for me too here. I put him in the B tier because he does have nice hits per nine. His pitching clutch is a little bit low, but the one thing that I think puts him in the B tier for me is that he has outlier. I think a big problem when you look at the community as a whole, a lot of people struggle with cards that have outliers. Even though his two-seam fastball hits 97, with outlier he can hit 102, 103. That two-seamer is going to act as another changeup even though he throws it fairly hard. The only problem you might see with him too is that he has 75 walks per nine, so that is pretty low. It's gonna be a little bit hard to locate with him. And now we have Nestor Cortez. You know, he has 5 pitches. He has a fastball cutter, very slow slider, a circle change, and a two-seamer. He's a very finesse type of card. He has good control, 101 hits per nine, 98 pitching clutch. Not S tier or A tier. I think he's an average starting pitcher. Now I'm gonna start with the hitters here in the B tier. We have Adam Dunn. Okay contact, 101, 93 is decent. Very good power, 125 against righties. 105 power against lefties, but 86 clutch. Very, very low. Even on those lower difficulties, for some of you guys on All-Star and Hall of Fame, it is going to be hard to hit with that small PCI. Really good bench bat, maybe even. You know, he has some decent quirks. First pitch hitter, dead red, pinch hitter, situational hitter. So maybe off the bench, you know, if you're looking for a quick homer with nobody in the scoring position, that's the big thing. If he had like 100 clutch or something like that, I'd probably put him in the A tier because you really do notice a difference when a card has low clutch. And then one of my sneaky picks here, I have Chili Davis. You know, he has good contact. Power's okay against righties, decent against lefties. His primary position is a designated hitter because he only has 64 fielding and 45 speed. Would not want to put this guy in the outfield, but I do like his swing. You know, I think he is going to play above his stats. He only has 93 clutch, you know, very similar to Adam Dunn. I think Dunn might be a little bit better. Dunn you can put at first base, maybe even throw him into left field, but 64 fielding, 45 speed, your only option with Chili Davis is putting him at DH. I like his swing, and since he's a switch hitter and has some decent hitting stats, I think he's worthy of the B tier. And then Ernie Banks and Kevin Youkilis, you know, those two cards are kind of similar in my opinion. You know, their hitting stats aren't the greatest. The one thing that I like about Youkilis is he has 125 clutch, so that is very nice. But other than that, I just think both of them are very average cards. Nothing about them screams to me like I need this guy in my lineup. Ernie Banks, I don't think he has a hitting stat over 100. I just don't think that's that great. He's an okay card. I just wish his stats were a little bit better. And then Eddie Murray, I've always liked his swinging game. He's a decent first baseman as well. We all know first base is so loaded in this game. He's okay. You know, I think he's a little bit above average. And then Corey Seager. The thing that hurts him though, even though he has a good clutch and good fielding as well, the thing that hurts him is 81 contact against lefties. Just stats are a little bit underwhelming. I know they're 97s. You know, if the power was like 105, like 110, somewhere in there, probably bump him up a little bit. I think he's worthy of a B tier. Now in the A tier, we have CJ Cron, Jacob deGrom, Jimmy Fox, Max Muncy, Roberto Clemente, and Sonny Gray. So again, just like the B tier, going to start with the pitchers. The one thing that worries me with deGrom is his 96 hits per nine, and he has 121 pitching clutch, which is very nice, but 96 hits per nine does worry me a little bit. He has okay walks per nine, and his K per nine is decent too, but the one thing I like about him is outlier. deGrom always hurts a lot of people every year. You know, his motion is a little bit harder to pick up this year in my opinion. You know, it's definitely funky. deGrom always gives me fits too, and while 96 hits per nine is a little bit low, the 122 pitching clutch with outlier too is going to help out a lot. Don't think he's S tier, but I do think he is A tier and definitely worth trying to put into your rotation. And then we have Sonny Gray. He has 103 hits per nine, 90 pitching clutch, but I like the pitch mix. He has a fastball, sinker, slurve, slider, cutter, and that cutter is very, very slow. The speed differentials aren't great, but he is a small pitcher. He's only 5'4", turf 10, you're gonna notice that on the bump. He could be funky, you know, he's kind of like a Marcus Stroman in my opinion, and I think he's better than some of these other starting pitchers that we've mentioned so far. Even though Kane has the better pitching clutch and whatnot, I'd rather a guy with a better pitch mix over a stat like that. I think you could do a little bit more with Sonny Gray than you can with a guy like Matt Cain, for example. Having the slurve, having the slider, and a cutter. I know they're all three very similar pitches to each other. Sliders and slurves are very tough to hit this year, so I think he is an A tier pitcher for this program. And then we have 4 hitters. You have Crone, Fox, Muncy, and Clemente. Crone is just, you know, he's just going to kill the ball at first base. He always does. Has a very good swing. Amazing stats for a first baseman. 101, 103 against righties, 90, 107, 115 clutch. Very, very good first baseman. And he has a couple good quirks as well. Crone is one of those cards that always plays above his stats. Crone's definitely one of the better cards in this program. And Jimmy Fox is very similar, in my opinion, to a CJ Crone. You know, he has better stats against righties, 109, 104, 90, 112 against lefties. You know, 90 contact against lefties is a little bit low, but you know, you could work with that. 104 clutch is nice, but the one thing I like about this card is he has catcher secondaries. I do think this is a very good card. Jimmy Fox has one of the best swings in the game. The versatility of this card is what makes him A tier. I think his best position to play him at is at catcher, but I do think there is one more catcher here that we're going to be talking about in a little bit that I think is better than him. Now, Max Muncy, this was probably the hardest card for me to decide on where to put him. He has fantastic power. The clutch is a little bit low at 95, but his contact is only 85-80. He is a primary first baseman, can play second, third, and left field. 62 speed, but no quirks, so nothing you can do is going to make that PCI any bigger. You know, he doesn't have, you know, first pitch hitter, dead red, breaking ball hitter, etc. So if you are not good with small PCIs, Max Muncy will not be a good player for you. But if you can work with the 85-80 contact and then 95 clutch, this card's going to mash. Very, very good swing too. It's just the one thing that's holding this card back is the low contact and the low clutch. And then the one controversial pick that I think a lot of people are going to be surprised about is Roberto Clemente. He has good power against lefties at 93, good contact 103, 120, 78 power against righties is a little bit low, but max clutch 94 fielding, 99 arm, 94 reaction. Clemente is going to be an absolute beast out in the outfield. He's going to get to everything. He's going to get a good jump on everything as well. And I think that's very underrated in this game. You know, fielding and reaction is so important this year, and he has good stats, and I think he will play above those hitting stats as well. Plus, he has so many good quirks. He has first pitch hitter, unfazed, dead red, breaking ball hitter, rally monkey, situational hitter, and table setter. Definitely give him a try if you're looking for a budget beast outfielder. And then lastly, we only have 3 cards here in the S tier because I'm being honest, I don't think there's a lot of great cards in this Team Affinity program, but we have Lance McCullers, Mike Napoli, and then Ryan Helsley. Cullers, no doubt about it, in my opinion, he is the best starting pitcher in this program by far. 110 hits per 9, 125 pitching clutch, sinker, slider, knuckle curve, circle change, and a cutter, and only 75 walks per 9. But I will deal with the control. I will take a guy that has 110 hits per 9 and 125 pitching clutch. That's definitely very high for early in the game here. Don't have that many good starting pitchers, and he has the pitch repertoire. Not too many better starting pitchers right now than Lance McCullers. And then in the same program, we have Mike Napoli too, which in my opinion, this is the best card in the program, hands down. He has 110, 107 contact, 114 power against righties, 110 against lefties, max clutch, primary catcher. You know, you don't have to worry about putting him anywhere else, and he has fantastic quirks. First pitch hitter, dead red, breaking ball hitter, situational hitter, table setter. Like, I don't know how this card's a 97. Best card in the program by far. And then as we head over here to the NL Central, we have the best reliever in the program, max hits per 9, 115 pitching clutch, and he has outlier on his fastball. He also has a slider, a 12-6 curve, and a circle change. So those are the best 3 cards in the program in my opinion. Lance McCullers, Mike Napoli, and Ryan Helsley. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments and let me know what you guys think of this tier list, and I'll see you guys next time.